Well, a night of severe weather has actually not turned out to officially be severe. We've had no warnings in the past several hours, but we've had many other problems due to the same storms. Good evening to you. I'm Wes Hohenstein. A very wet night for most of us continues tonight at 11 o'clock. Heavy rain with frequent lightning causing some possible fires, and the heavy rain leading to some isolated flooding. But it is exiting most of the triangle. Just some light to moderate rain for a good portion of Wake County now. And as we widen out, you can see this is still affecting a good portion of our area from Johnston County through eastern Wake County on up toward the Virginia border. This cluster of storms moving off to the east, still producing heavy rain and frequent lightning, but a second cluster just south of our area, kind of moving more to the northeast, will clip parts of the Sandhills. Again, nothing severe right now, but that possibility does exist outside of the heavy rain and the frequent lightning. The good news is for some of us, mainly back to the west, the tornado watch has been dropped, but that tornado watch continues for most everyone else as long as you have storms nearby until 2 a.m. The good news is by tomorrow morning's commute, when you leave for work and school, it will be dry. We'll have sunshine. Some of us could have some fog. And even though a lot of this has to do with a cold front eventually, it will not be colder tomorrow as we'll start off around 60. Coming up in your forecast, I'll tell you when that cold air will arrive, but our coverage of tonight's severe weather continues right now on CBS North Carolina.
Thank you, Wes. This weather system affecting thousands across the state. The line of storms moving through central North Carolina right now left a trail of damage in western North Carolina earlier tonight.
Our mobile news tracker also on the road following the storms as they move east. And here's the latest information we have for you. Duke Energy reports more than 98,000 customers lost power in our state. In central North Carolina, nearly 2,000 without power at the Wake-Harnett County line. Now, there are several tornado reports in western North Carolina which have not yet been confirmed. The National Weather Service will be out in hard-hit areas tomorrow. And a very busy weather night. Wes warned us about it all day. Good evening. I'm Sharon Taswell.
And I'm Sean Maroney. Thanks for joining us. Amy Cutler checking out damage reports in Wake County live off Glenwood Avenue, where flooding is already creating issues. Amy?
Sharon, the rain is still coming down at this hour. It fortunately is coming down a little less intensely than we have seen it over the last hour and a half. But I want to show you what we're seeing right now on Glenwood Avenue, and that is an accident. You can see it's a single car accident. The back of it is now has now hit the median. Fortunately, we're told there are no injuries. The driver was able to make it out okay. But this is kind of indicative of what we've been seeing on the roads all evening long. Now we want to show you some video further up Glenwood, right by Creedmoor. That is a trouble spot. There's a lot of pooling on the roads that happen there, and it's prone to flooding. Fortunately, tonight we have not seen any issues in that area, but the rain was really coming down hard at times. And certainly some trouble spots. Drivers had to take it slower. We had to take it slower in certain areas because of all of that ponding on the roads. We saw some lightning and some thunder. So if you need to head out tonight, you certainly want to take it slow. We're going to continue to monitor the conditions out here, and we'll, of course, bring you any updates as we get them. Live in Raleigh, I'm Amy Cutler, CBS North Carolina.
Thank you, Amy. And again, at least 2,000 people without power earlier tonight at the Wake-Harnett County line. This is video from the Jordan Lake area off of Highway 64.
And the most significant damage from this system in the western part of our state and the upstate of South Carolina. This is aerial video from Spartanburg, South Carolina, where there are widespread reports of wind damage, downed trees, and power lines. And this ground video also sent to CBS North Carolina from a Raleigh native in the Spartanburg area for work. Look at this. He's a truck driver and says a tornado flipped his truck. Well, this is across from Spartanburg Community College on Business 85. The National Weather Service saying tonight they're pretty confident a tornado touched down there, but will not know for sure until tomorrow.
In North Carolina, several hangars and small planes got damaged at Hickory Regional Airport. That's in Burke County in the foothills. Now, fortunately, no injuries reported there. Airport officials believe it was a tornado causing the damage. The National Weather Service will be able to confirm that tomorrow when they survey the area. We'll be checking in with our crews throughout the newscast, and make sure you can stay up to date on breaking severe weather alerts by downloading our CBS North Carolina app. You can sign up for weather alerts, watch our newscasts and weather updates, as well as submit your own photos and videos. An update tonight to a story that was breaking at 5 and 6. Raleigh police say one man is in custody in connection to this afternoon's shooting outside of Crabtree Valley Mall. Police say a bullet hit a parked car in the Barnes & Noble parking lot around 4:45. No one was hurt.
A harrowing and tragic story tonight out of Fayetteville. Our cameras there as fire crews rescued a family dog trapped in a house fire. 3 other pets did not make it out. Fire crews responded to the home on Morganton Road around 6:30. CBS North Carolina's AJ Janavel has more on the quick-thinking neighbors who stepped in.
The flames may be out, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Firefighters say they will be out here on scene for hours. The family tells me they're thankful they weren't home. Laying on the ground, not moving. Neighbors say they were unsure if Baxter would live.
When they put the breather on the dog, that just broke my heart. I hope the dog makes it.
But then the little dog started to stir.
Did you guys just save that dog?
Actually, the fire department did.
Margie Jones lives next door. She tells me she was the one who told firefighters there were dogs in the home.
I knew they had animals, and I was worried about the animals.
Battalion Chief David Hargis tells me when they found out little Baxter was still breathing, firefighters did everything they could to keep the dog alive.
The pets become a priority for us too, and we render as much aid as we can.
The family was not present at the time and arrived home to this scene in their front yard. Firefighters were able to save the family's 2 dogs. The family tells me 3 of their cats died, and now where a family once called home is destroyed. They tell me it will be difficult, but they will be okay. And again, no one was home during the fire and no people were injured. Firefighters tell me that they will be here through the night trying to determine what caused this fire. Reporting here in Fayetteville, I'm AJ Janavel for CBS North Carolina.
AJ, thank you. And tonight, police in Fayetteville are searching for 2 men accused of raping a woman in broad daylight near downtown. And the victim told police 2 men approached her while sitting on a bench on Ann Street last Wednesday afternoon. And area police says that not much crime happens in that area. Well, the victim didn't report the case until this weekend, prompting police to issue an alert today. Well, people who walk the area say they'll be taking extra precautions.
Precautions, white flags, make sure that I take precaution of where I'm going. And what I'm going to start doing is changing my routes.
Well, there you go. Police do not have a good description of the suspects, but are viewing surveillance video from nearby businesses. They're also asking anyone who might have information to give them or Crime Stoppers a call. That number's on your screen, 910-843-TIPS. Anyone with information leading to an arrest could be eligible for a cash reward. And remember, tips can be anonymous.
The woman who shot an intruder at a Knightdale shopping center last month will not face charges. Connie Wells shot 24-year-old DeAndre Branch in her office after police say he tried to run from a nearby Walmart where he's accused of shoplifting bras. Security footage showed this, him hitting a locked door before it opened. Once inside, he came in contact with Wells. Her attorney released a statement today saying in part, quote, Mr. Branch's decisions led to a traumatic outcome for him as well for Connie Wells. She will never feel entirely safe in her office again. At last check, Branch is still in the hospital. His family says he may never walk again. Still no word on what charges he may face.
She's screaming and screaming for help.
That's one of the 911 calls released from Fayetteville police today, days after they say a woman beat her son to death in a hotel room at the Fairfield Inn. When police responded, they found Zamari Chance unresponsive. Paramedics took him to the hospital where he later died. And the child's mother, Crystal Matthews, who you see there on the left, made her first court appearance today on first-degree murder and child abuse charges, a case the district attorney says is a tough one for everyone.
There certainly is an emotional element when you have a 9-year-old child that lost their life. So, you can the emotion of it is not lost on you, but we have a job to do, and we intend to do it.
She is being held without bond. Meanwhile, Zamari's principal at Howard Hall Elementary released a statement saying the school is saddened by the loss, and he will be greatly missed.
Keeping athletes safe from head injuries, the issue on the books tonight in Orange County, where a new report shows more students reported head injuries or concussions last year than in years past. CBS North Carolina's Michael Hyland getting answers from district leaders tonight.
Instead of being on the field with his friends, Let's go Panthers! Tice Oldenburg is recovering at Duke Hospital. unconscious since a head injury during a game earlier this month.
Every day is an improvement.
His aunt, Caroline Beasley, wears these bands with his number as she urges people to pray for him.
Unfortunately, the brain is like the ocean. There's a lot you don't know.
The Orange County School District is working to know more about these kinds of injuries. A new report shows an increase in concussions and head injuries last school year compared to the two prior. I showed the results to Beasley, who wants to know more.
Here's what happened, here's what we did, here's what we can improve on so that it doesn't happen again.
I asked Orange High School's athletic trainer, Emily Gaddy, about that. Are there actual steps the district could take to reduce these incidents from happening?
I think our district as a whole does a very great job at that. All of our athletes and parents are educated on what concussions are, what their signs and symptoms are.
She pointed to training on technique and efforts to change players' behaviors to reduce risk.
They're also more likely to report themselves and report their friends, which is why we do see some of the numbers going up.
Beasley says even as serious as Tice's injuries are, her family is hopeful.
While it's horrible, there's so many things that could have been so much worse. So we're so grateful that, you know, he's where he is versus where he could have been.
In Orange County, Michael Highland, CBS North Carolina.
Tice's family is raising money for medical costs. Anything left over will go to a fund to help other kids in the future. We have a link to the GoFundMe in the story right now on WNCN.com. Sentencing for Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl will resume on Wednesday. They were set to begin today, but the judge deciding the punishment heard arguments about a last-minute motion related to comments made by the president. The judge says those comments have not swayed his decision, but he's worried about public perception of the military justice system.
A modified timeline released today of the attack on U.S. troops in Niger, blamed for killing 4 Fort Bragg-based soldiers. The U.S. task force that came under fire faced an onslaught of small arms, rocket-propelled grenades, and machine gun fire for nearly 2 hours. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Joseph Dunford, gave an update today saying the unit thought they could handle the situation without additional support. The attack left 3 soldiers dead. A 4th, LaDavid Johnson, was alone and presumably alive a mile away. General Dunford says he doesn't know why.
Once we found out that Sergeant Johnson was missing, we brought the full weight of the U.S. government to bear in trying to try to recover his body.
President Trump has faced criticism for not mentioning the death sooner and for comments he made in a condolence call to the pregnant widow of Sergeant LaDavid Johnson. Now, also in Washington today, the president awarded the Medal of Honor to a U.S. Army captain for his efforts to save others during the Vietnam War. Captain Gary Rose served as a medic where he helped rescue Americans attacked in enemy territory. At one point, even using his own body as a shield to save a wounded American.
Our first glimpse inside the chaos at a North Carolina prison as inmates attacked workers.
We've got a medical emergency at the prison. We've got 3 officers down.
3 officers down.
Next at 11, the 911 calls and the changes now being made at the top of the state's prison system. Wes.
Well, guys, like we showed you at the top of the newscast, strong storms that still could possibly be severe are moving through our area. A few more hours until those move out, but our next concern, how cold it's going to get. We'll talk about what happens after the front coming up in your forecast.
We're not leaving until we catch this guy.
But first, a community on alert.
3 people killed days apart. The steps police are taking to make sure that people there are safe and the one clue they have in the case.
And as we go to break, here is a live look from our mobile news tracker. Our crew is checking out new damage reports just coming in after tonight's storms. We'll be right back.
Today, the State Department of Public Safety announced a Chief Deputy Secretary for Adult Correction and Juvenile Justice is stepping down. This comes on the heels of a deadly inmate's attack against workers 2 weeks ago at a prison in Elizabeth City. The 4 men accused of killing corrections officer Justin Smith and manager Veronica Darden at the Pasquotank Correctional Institution appeared in court today. Among the 911 calls placed during the attack, an employee who says she locked herself in a maintenance closet, desperate to get help for an injured officer.
But the officer is alive. The officer is alive. Because I can see but he's not getting up. But he's not getting up. I don't know if he was attacked with a hammer or a screwdriver or he was attacked with something.
Several others were hurt during the ordeal. An estimated 200 police officers and deputies responded to the prison.
A community on alert after 3 people were found dead in one area within a 10-day period. Tonight, police met with people in the Tampa, Florida neighborhood to answer their questions and offer tips. They've also put more officers on the streets to talk with residents and look for clues.
If you're out there walking alone, that you're either a suspect or a potential victim.
Officials believe the killings are connected because of their close proximity to one another. The victims had no known connections. The one clue police have, though, this surveillance video of a man in the area on the night of the first murder. But they are not calling this man a suspect. Our mobile news tracker on the roads right now checking out damage reports in central North Carolina.
Our Michael Highland in Raleigh right now with what appears to be a washed out road. Michael, tell us what you're seeing there.
We're on Peace Street near Capitol Boulevard, and the police here are just about to reopen the 2 lanes in front of me. However, if you're going eastbound on Peace Street, that's going to remain closed for a little while. There was some high water here that caused some construction debris to wash into the road, so they've been trying to get that cleaned up, and they are working to get that reopened. But just a reminder, a couple of lanes here on Peace Street will remain closed, at least for the next little while. We also just came from a fire in Raleigh as well. This is on Atria Circle. Several firefighters on the scene there, including on the roof. There was a report of a fire up there. It looked to be under control when we were there about 15 minutes ago. No reports of any injuries or any major damage from that. That's a new apartment complex just off of Atlantic Avenue. Only been open there for a little over a year or so. So we're driving around the area getting some more reports from the impacts from this storm, and we'll continue to keep you updated throughout the night. But live in the mobile news tracker, Michael Highland, CBS North Carolina.
Thank you, Michael. Elsewhere, we want to take a live look right now on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Our crews at that scene witnessing an accident earlier from high waters near Crabtree Valley Mall and on the Beltline. So that's the scene there tonight. Wes, it's been a busy night across our area.
It has an incredible display of Mother Nature, bringing us some much needed rain and what we thought was going to be a busy night of severe weather. We technically didn't get it. The threat's not over yet, but we technically didn't get it. Remember, severe weather means 3 things officially. It means a tornado, it means 1-inch hail, and it means 58-mile-per-hour winds or greater. So maybe we didn't get any of that, but boy, did we have a ton of lightning. And we know that causes problem with our tall trees and tall houses around here. Maybe we got 40 to 50-mile-per-hour winds. That can cause problems. And we had 1 to 2 inches of rain in a short amount of time, and we know that causes problem. Yes, we needed it, but not that much that quickly. So tonight, a couple things I want to point out. We still have storms, and we still have that threat. But look at our temperatures, 60s and 70s. So sometimes storms come through and we drop instantly. That's not the case this time. Remember, it's not going to get cold until Wednesday morning, and it is going to get chilly again. But tonight, still, some very heavy rain, thunder and lightning, probably keeping you and the pets and the kids up still. From Johnston County on north all the way up to the Virginia border through Lewisburg and Henderson and South Hill and pretty much everywhere east of there. You guys still have these storms to get through. And again, they haven't officially been severe. We haven't had any tornadoes in our area yet. But it's still possible. It's less and less likely at this point, but it's still possible. We still have to stay weather aware. And then kind of coming from a different direction, some storms down here in the Sandhills that are going to roll across I-40, across parts of Sampson and Wayne County. I want to tell you how lucky I think we are tonight because I want to put up all the storm damage reports, and I'll just step out of the way for a second, okay? These are all the reports from tonight. There's none in our area, but there is a ton back to the west. Unfortunately, our friends there got the worst of it tonight, especially around the Hickory area. Remember, you see a little broken tree icon? That's a severe wind damage report. We know what that is. That's a tornado. We have flooding reports. I want to talk about what was happening north of Hickory in Caldwell County. A lot of schools actually had to canceled tomorrow because there was so much damage. There was a home that had a roof ripped off, numerous trees down in the neighborhood, so it's some tough stuff back to the west. That was the same system we were watching that thought would bring us some of that same weather. And we still have the tornado watch in effect for many of us until 2 a.m. But while it was the same system, it was totally different for us, totally different for the mountains. So here's what we've got tomorrow. A totally different forecast than what we had today. It'll be mostly dry by morning and mostly sunny. Might have some fog to deal with, so be ready for that. Bill will be here at 4:30 to help steer you out the door safely. Otherwise, we've got a sunny and dry day, temperatures warming up to 75. Remember, the cold air doesn't get here until Wednesday, and it's out there. It's just not really close to us. Still 60s and 70s along the East Coast. It's still kind of locked up here in the Midwest, but overnight lows in the 40s and maybe 30s will eventually get here. But tomorrow, sunny and mild. That front will move through late in the day. That's when the colder air will spill in. But like last week, it'll be sunny and chilly Wednesday and Thursday. That's not going to last forever either. Friday will start a slow warm up as high pressure moves away, but we've got to get ready for another cold front next weekend that will bring us some rain and possibly our coldest temperatures of the year next week. Coldest of the year, even colder than what we've had already, but not cold tomorrow. Tomorrow will be sunny and dry with temperatures in the 70s. And your 7-day forecast will take us from those 70s tomorrow to the 60s, guys, the 60s Wednesday and Thursday, including 40 degrees Thursday morning. So it'll be chilly again. We'll warm back up to 70 Friday and Saturday. Small rain chances this weekend. And again, Sunday's cold front could be the real deal, dropping our highs into the 50s next week. Lows in the 30s.
Oh, my.
But again, tonight is not over with yet. We need to keep an eye on this for another 2 hours probably.
Okay.
Wonderful.
All right. Thank you, Wes.
You know, everything North Carolina's been through recently with the investigation, an injury probably feels like a little bump in the road, don't you think? A broken hand will slow down but not stop Tar Heel star guard Joel Berry. He will miss some time, but not enough to impact the season. We've got that story, plus the Hurricanes return home, the Panthers searching for answers, and the Pack with a huge game at Notre Dame. Stay with us. Sports is coming up next. Time to have an injury, but if it's going to happen now is not a bad time for it to occur. North Carolina announced on Monday that senior point guard Joel Berry broke his hand. Berry will miss 4 to 6 weeks of action, just enough time for UNC's backup point guard, 7th Woods and Jalik Felton, to get comfortable running the team. In the long run, it might not be a bad thing for the Tar Heels. The 2017 Final Four Most Outstanding Player, Berry is the team's leading and returning scorer, the squad's heart and soul. His absence certainly hurts, but Berry should miss no more than 4 regular season games and could be back in time for the Heels' toughest early test, a home matchup with Michigan. East Carolina versus North Carolina on the hardwood. It's not on the schedule this year, but it's about to happen. The Pirates, UNC Wilmington, UNC Greensboro, and the Tar Heels, of course, will play at the Dean Dome on Sunday, November 5th. The Jamboree helping to raise money for the North Carolina Disaster Relief Fund. What a great cause. Now, each school will play a total of 40 minutes, divided into 3 segments against each other. Tickets go on sale Wednesday, October 25th at the UNC ticket office. Tip-off is set for 3 o'clock. A year ago at this time, the Carolina Hurricanes returned from their State Fair road trip, having won just 1 of their 6 games on that excursion. That futility set the tone for what would become another year of missed playoffs, their 8th straight. The Canes just wrapped up another fair road trip, this time finishing a respectable 2-2 on their Western swing, and will now play 3 of the next 4 games at PNC Arena. But don't think for a minute that 500 road record is enough to satisfy this team. The Canes felt they could have done better.
Yeah, we don't want to accept average. Average teams don't make the playoffs, so we want to make sure that we're setting our expectations higher and having the confidence and knowledge that we can be better than that. So that's yeah, like you said, that's what comes with a winning team and a winning culture, and we're trying to build that here.
That's the attitude to have. Carolina back in action Tuesday, hosting the high-scoring Tampa Bay Lightning. And just like that, the Carolina Panthers are now searching for answers after 2 straight losses, including Sunday's awful 17-3 stinker at Chicago. That setback sent Twitter into full gear. Panther fans calling for offensive coordinator Mike Shula's head, and others saying head coach Ron Rivera must go. What now, Panthers? Your season could be slipping away. How do you turn it around?
You know, it's that old saying is everybody has a plan until you get hit in the mouth. Well, we got hit in the mouth yesterday, whether it was by our own doing or by them. But we have to find out who we are.
The Panthers better score some points on Sunday because their opponent, Tampa Bay, can Cats at Bucks. Boy, what an opportunity the Wolfpack has this weekend. The Pack heads to South Bend for a top 20 matchup with Notre Dame. A perfect time to play the Irish. Perfect time to play the Irish? What are you talking about? I'm talking about the fact that Notre Dame is about to be caught napping. The Irish is coming off a 49-14 thrashing of rival USC, and now they face a Wolfpack squad flying under the radar. Seems like the perfect storm for an upset.
All we're talking about is us and our enemy and how we can beat them. And all that stuff will take care of itself. And we get lost in things that don't matter. Not to say that you guys don't matter, but you really don't when it comes to us playing well.
I guess, Coach. Wolfpack and Irish Saturday, 3:30 in South Bend. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Well, we just got an update on that scene Michael Hyland told you about earlier on Peace Street in Raleigh. This is a live look there. Police just told us Peace Street could be closed until tomorrow morning, which obviously would be a big impact to morning commuters around downtown. We'll have more on that on our morning newscast.
And for a lot of us, the threat of severe weather is over tonight, but for some of us, we are still getting some of the heaviest rain, the strongest storms. Remember that tornado watch still in effect for most of us until 2 a.m. So another couple of hours. By morning, we're dry, but not yet colder. 60 as you hop on the bus in the morning, mid 70s with sunshine in the afternoon, and then we're going to get spoiled again for another few days. Look at this week. We got more sunshine. We've got some chilly weather. We've got some 70s, so a little bit of everything. And, you know, best thing of all, I know we didn't want the severe weather tonight, but boy, we needed some rain. Got a nice, good soaking tonight. Yeah. Now we got some sun that'll make all that grass grow, and we got to mow it by the end of the year. So.
Yeah, some pretty weather tomorrow. All right. Have a great night.
And state. Yeah.
Gibby wants to run from